Hi, my people. How are you doing? I hope everything is well. Well, as usual, I think I've always promised to come and share with you my biggest plight in tour operations business, and this is all about my first experience of Land Cruiser conversion, and this is my first time probably working with conversion, uh, call it a company or a person to do as Land Cruiser conversion. So I have a very short story that I would like to bring to your attention, probably, but there must be a learning element in this. And whoever is watching probably should pick very good contents and be able to watch some of the red flags that will be shown. It's gonna be a free, you know, conversation, and you'll be able to understand. And out of that, my biggest lessons to you would be to understand clearly how to work with these people, who to avoid, um, key steps to take. Right? Um, I think it was around last year in November. There, you know, I have a very good colleague of mine, a friend. Of course, I wanted to be part of, you know, quality control. When you have your own vehicles as a company, is that element of quality control, right? You know which vehicle you're going to use for your clients, the state in which, this is the biggest advantage that you could have owning your own vehicles, than hiring out every now and then. You get it? So in our growth strategy, we said, no, I think we need to have a Land Cruiser. And I was very well guided by my colleague. So we waited for the auctioning agency. We had to go do our bid, and we are very lucky. We happened to get a hardtop Land Cruiser from UN. Huh? I won't go into the details of how the bidding was, the auctioning process, all that stuff. But of course, we went it through and we managed to get a hardtop Land Cruiser. We didn't keep it for months. Of course, the program was running and we had to take it to, we had to find the conversion agency or someone who would do conversion at a very affordable, price. So my colleague who guided me so well had actually been using this person to do the conversion of his own Land Cruisers, and probably I should say the work wasn't below average; it was slightly above average. And the fact that we had spent some cool money in our buying that Land Cruiser, we felt we could find something non super expensive, you know, and of course, I think we had it for about 3 weeks after clearing everything, taxes and all that. And then my colleague said, no, there was some small due diligence that I actually tried to dig down as someone in consultancy. So personally, I had to look at the vehicle that was converted from his company. And then I said, no, slightly beyond average. So there was that trust, I think, that I decided to. So this guy was coming to Uganda. I had a meeting with him on how things should go, I, some specifications that I needed, uniqueness of the vehicle. We talked about AC per seat, all that stuff. And pretty much of the things were recorded. We had some records kept for purposes of records. Well, we said, good, let's send the vehicle. We agreed on a particular amount, about 10,000 US dollars. I want to be very honest. Um, yes, the fee could be as little as it is, but the fact there was an agreement for probably someone would do some quality, or average work on the vehicle, that would mean, yes, we've entered into an agreement. Payment plan was drawn. Okay, cool. We drafted a letter. I think we sent 3 vehicles to Arusha. That was around November. Um, I want to mention this guy's name, and I've seen so many companies in Uganda and partly more in Rwanda. They have tried, to go with him. Shabby Autoworks. I think Shabby comes from Shaban. That's the name I know. So, as a recommended by a friend, of course, there was trust instilled, and we went down the road. I think we were given a timeline of about 2 months, which is not a bad time because I knew other agencies, that you all know, strong and big in Tanzania. They give about 6 weeks. Probably you can span down into 8 weeks. So we had that. So November, and our letters were saying, please allow vehicle A to cross for A, B, C, D, and around this time they will be completed. So the vehicle will be able to return to Kampala. Of course, the guys came, took our vehicles down. Remember, there were 3 Land Cruisers, right? They went down on around 5th of November. We expected them to return around, the letters read 5th of January 2024, this year. We waited. November, we asked for updates. No updates. December, literally, we were lies flying over. Hey, we're working, we're doing this, all that. January came. And remember, it was January when we expected these Land Cruisers to be back. 5th. Nothing. I happened to fly in Arusha, probably to check on my own, works that were ongoing. Guess what? Shaban, uh, that probably works with Shabby. I think he's a director there. He's the big man. Shabby Auto Works. Had some good time. I had gone to do some other businesses. Then on completion, I had said, no, I have time to spare. Let me go check on my vehicle, right? I literally couldn't get him in Arusha, you know. Then something tickled me that, there's something going wrong. Whole day, I'm picking you here, I'm picking you there, I'm picking you. So there was a lot of incompetency, there was a lot of arrogancy, there was a lot of uh, poor quality of service in there. I so happened I communicated back to Kampala, someone coordinated, and I found that actually where I was staying, it was a walkable distance to his garage. We didn't find the vehicles. So why am I bringing this to you out there that is trying to see my plight in this? Is to assist you and say, when this person presents to you, please be aware of, one, incompetence, two, the quality of the work that would be probably delivered. So literally we had a delay of about 6 months, you know, 6 months of no works done, from November until around April. You can imagine there was no work being done. You can imagine I had to fly back home without seeing the progress of the works of the Land Cruiser that was sent in April, no, in November. So consulted friends here and there. Remember, my friend who recommended also had his own Land Cruiser, part of the three that you know, we knew probably he had issues here. We had paid 50% of the money. We still wired in more money, probably to see that this is the only way we could support him get all our works completed. Otherwise, we needed our vehicles to be here around May, June, July for a busy season. Nothing could happen. Not until we had to sponsor a friend, a colleague that had one of the Land Cruisers out of the three to come and do the inspection. He actually stayed in Tanzania for 2 weeks. But guess what? On arrival, there was nothing done, literally. At least I could say about 15 or 20% was done. But look, before we had promises from Shabby Auto Works, you know, such an incompetent guy, that no, your vehicle is coming next week. Your vehicle is coming next week. We are doing spraying. We are the wind glasses are the only ones missing. I'm installing them this week. Blah blah blah. Then he could literally, I think, go to another workshop and take photos for, for other people's vehicles and probably sends them to us. To believe that works were ongoing, so you could send more money, right? So our colleague came down 2 weeks. This is when we actually mounted pressure on him that, someone was supposed to be there to get all the vehicles, done. But still, 2 weeks, he also had some other businesses to do in Kampala. He had to come back. So we are literally told in next week, the vehicles are coming. Wapi, the vehicles didn't come. We're all bitter, wanted all to come to see what was happening with. Okay, finally, we received calls. Tomorrow, prepare papers. Da, 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 da. We used Mutukula border to collect these vehicles. Said, okay, let's go get whatever it's there. After all, they have returned. No, with high expectations that, yes, we are getting, well, we had requested for photos, videos to see whatever specifications that was discussed was all met. Literally, we didn't get all that. Nothing at all. Personally, I had to stop communications because there was, I was, we were overpromised. Remember, 6 months down the road. So we had to drive to Motukula to pick our vehicles. And guess what? It was all bogus work, I can tell you this. Literally fake work that was done. According to me, to make things worse, 3 vehicles came. 2, we asked him to put in one color. First thing, mix up of plate numbers. My driver said, can we check plates in relation to chassis numbers? Things were different. So we started moving plates to another vehicle. You can imagine how vehicles would cross with different number plates and different chassis. That's complete disorganization. We said, okay, let's take all our vehicles to Kampala, see whatever is missing, we'll try. But whatever we had talked about in as far as AC, in as far as seat covers, in as far as installation of wind glasses, everything was poorly done. Not even to an average standard, right? Nothing, literally nothing, I should tell you people. Papers were processed, we moved. Even some vehicles, we had some rain at the border. Some were not closed properly. The wind glasses, the rear wind glasses, the front, you could have water dripping down inside the vehicle. You get it? And some had cleared their balances. Lucky I had some small money that I said, no, I have to do due diligence, then I can pay the balances. To cut the story short, we drove to Kampala, said, okay, let's take them to one workshop. You can imagine coming from a workshop that you took your vehicle for proper works, but again, you have to come to Kampala and take the same vehicle to another workshop, and you're going to spend like $2,000 or $3,000, right? But to my understanding, what Shabby Auto Work does, we took brand new, not brand new per se, but these are model 2018. UN had kept them so well. The dashboard looked very nice, the side mirrors, everything was nice. The interior wasn't all that spoiled. Shabby Auto Works stole from our vehicles, from from the dashboard. Lots of things were exchanged. Literally, our vehicles, I don't know whether he sells them, he sells these hardware parts too. What I think he didn't sell was the engine. But we replaced almost everything in as far as hardware is concerned for that Land Cruiser. You can imagine even some of the Land Cruisers returned with different dashboards. I don't know whether he records, whether he has competent staff, whether he has a good team to man all this, right? Dashboards were different. AC was not working. We thought we could just refill AC, but fitting back the Land Cruiser parts were all done in a wrong way. You can see he could remove things. Personally, he sold my front seat chair for a Land Cruiser. You see, we went to a garage. He said we have to buy a new one. The charging system, you can imagine a 7-seater Land Cruiser that 7 people would be using for charging. And he used a 300-watt charger or inverter, you know, yet at least minimum someone would use 600 or 1,000, right? The inverter. So everything was stolen from our vehicles, you see. And you can imagine such a thief has got a very big market, because I think he does most of the vehicles for Rwandan guides. You know, how they return there, I don't know. But even for those, I'm talking about myself, the experience I had with Shabby Auto Works, and to me, I cannot make any recommendations, not at all. And I can say I was robbed 100%. I had to put in more money. I had to redo everything. Whatever I had asked him to specifically do, wapi. So here's the learning curve. Had I known, probably I would have taken my Land Cruisers to good. I was guided, and I was under the impression, no, he has done for A, B, C, and probably I would also receive something slightly beyond average. I wouldn't mind top because my money was a bit, you know, I can imagine 10,000. And average, probably when you go to other agencies, you probably have a conversion at about 15,000, striking over to 17,000, right? But everything was robbed, stolen. Even our car key, he lost it. You can imagine losing an original key. That's the highest degree of incompetency when it comes to Shabby Auto Works. We had to duplicate keys. The fuel closer, that thing that opens the you know, the second tank were all disconnected. I wonder whether there must be some quality control before the car leaves a workshop, or literally there is nothing done. no inspection, the speedometers were not working, temperature gauges were not working, the glasses, the car looked much older than we took it. And we are claiming it was from the workshop. I think I had about 1,500 in balance. We used all that. We went to draw all our accounts to add more money to have our vehicle back on the road. Tires were exchanged. You cannot even have a simple recording of a side mirror was picked from you, whatever, this specific vehicle. Tires were exchanged. I already told you number plates were of different vehicles. You know, my Land Cruiser had a different number plate for another car. And following the logbook, the chases, all that confusion you know, and all the boys were talking about what happened, you see? And he had the guts probably to ask, can you give me my balance, all that stuff. So, guys, please be rest assured that whenever you get something and it's all about Land Cruiser conversion, Safari Jeep conversion, be mindful. Find at least go pay more than being fooled by an individual. To me, I called him a roadside garage. And indeed he is. But literally, be warned for any dealings with such people. They deserve nothing but rather be placed somewhere, either in the coolers or somewhere. Otherwise, you'll be very disappointed. And there's so many people I met shared the same stories. So I wonder how we can trust such a lumpen with our hard-earned money, So I hope you've learned something. Good enough. We've managed to put it back, but still with the huge investment again. You see, we could have probably taken it to other people and pay probably 20,000 US dollars for conversion. And we rest assured that one, we have a durable product, well done, nothing is lost. Otherwise, the car was robbed. We're left with an engine only. So I guess you've learned something. So next time when you want to do vehicle conversion, go for the top to avoid wasting of time, because we wasted time by then we would have recovered. If our Land Cruiser returned by January 5th into June, that's about 5 months, we could have collected about $10,000 back in our operations. Nothing. We lost time, we lost money, we lost everything, and we had courtesy of Shabby Auto Works. They are in Arusha, so stay warned. Otherwise, that's my story, and I hope you can learn from it. Otherwise, I thank you for listening in, and yes, we'll come back to share with you more learning tutorials. And as this has been an eye-opener for those that are stepping into this industry, so that you would reach out for such criminals. They are all over and they are waiting for your hard-earned money. Trust me. Don't forget, follow us on our social media handle. We on LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook. Please see you next time. Bye-bye.